Happy rainy Friday, everybody. It is raining here in North Charleston, South Carolina, pretty much. But today's dish is such a comfort dish that it goes perfectly with the theme. For those of you that have been following along on Facebook, you know that we're going to be making gnocchi today. A little history about gnocchi. It's actually the funniest menu item that we have because people have pronounced it gnocchi, gnocchi, and after they give up for a while, they just take the menu and they point and they're like, we'll have this. So the correct pronunciation is gnocchi. And the way I always remembered it is because if you're from New York, it's easy to get that aw sound into things. So if you were to say, I'm from New York, you could say it's gnocchi. So it's very easy way. That's the way I remember it. So otherwise, just point at a menu if you're not comfortable saying it. Gnocchi is made from potatoes, and these are actually russet baking potatoes, and I find that these work the best. They have a lot of starch in them, which helps making them kind of light and fluffy. And if anyone hasn't tasted gnocchi yet, you can compare them to like a light pillow. They're just delicious. A lot of people don't even know they're made from potato. So if you're looking for a vegetarian dish, this is also a great alternative. Like I said, gnocchi originated in Italy, in the northern part, because it's colder climate up there and it allows for them to have hardy vegetation. So they took potatoes and turned it into a pasta dish. Very ingenious. They have an abundance of potatoes up there, so why not, right? Also, the word gnocchi comes from gnocco, which means a knuckle. So if you look at your knuckle, it kind of looks like a little gnocchi because after we make them the way they're supposed to be, they're going to have those little lines on it, the little ridges. So, well, let's get started. Now that you have the history about gnocchi. So I have my ingredients out, and this was super simple. We're back to almost 4 ingredients again. We have our flour, all-purpose, an egg. We have our potatoes. We have salt and pepper. And then I have a little bit of ingredients over here for the sauces that I'm going to show you how to make a little bit later. So I have everything out here. I have my mixing bowl. We're going to use our hands. I went ahead and washed mine, and I took my jewels off, so we're ready to go. And the first thing we're going to do now, you could take the time and bake these, you know, say you're busy, throw them in the oven, clean your house, come back out, they'll be done. I put them in the microwave for 10 minutes, and they're perfect. So I'm just going to cut them in half. And this is actually a little paring knife of mine from home. If any of you have ever seen on Facebook Cooking with Nona, Rosella Rago sells these on there, and I got to tell you, I use this knife for everything. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut my potatoes in half, and they're not super hot, but they're not cold. You know, they're still a little warm in the inside. And what you can do is you can actually peel these skin right off. Sometimes it'll come off really simple by, if you do it right away when they're hot, they'll be steaming off. Otherwise, just do it like a peeler. If you're not comfortable doing that, you can just take a spoon inside and scoop them out. But this way, I feel that you get the most from your potato, because when you scoop it out, you miss a lot of the stuff up by. We're going to take this end off because we don't want anything hard in there. And this would be the same way if you wanted to like do tomatoes and you wanted to steam them and take the skin off. Okay, and then we're just going to put it in our bowl. It's really simple if you're following along. See, half the time it just peels right off. And like I said, when they're hot, it peels all by itself. But you have to be careful because you will burn your fingers. Okay, and there's the next. Now the recipe called for 2, and these are rather large, so this is going to make a lot of gnocchi, believe it or not. You probably think, well, I can eat a baked potato, so why wouldn't I, you know, this doesn't look like it's going to make a lot of gnocchi. But once you incorporate the flour in with it, it kind of doubles up a little bit. There's the other one, and we're just going to get the last one done here. You could use a potato peeler, but you know, why dirty another utensil? All about easy cooking, especially easy cleaning. See, this one's just peeling right off. A lot of people like the skin on a baked potato, which is great, has the most vitamins, but not for this dish. Okay. Let me get rid of all of my peels now in the garbage. And what you want to do next, if you have a potato masher, that's fine, not necessary. Just take your fork and mush them down. And this will be nice and soft. See, there's no resistance. Like I said, you know, everyone's probably made a baked potato in the microwave. So all you need to do is make sure they're soft. Don't use a yellow potato. The brown russet is the best. Okay, so I'm just gonna make sure I don't have any big chunks in here because we want these to come out nice and fluffy, and we do not want to bite into a chunk of a potato. Okay, so this is pretty much all mashed up. The next thing I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna just season it with a little salt and pepper because, you know, the potato doesn't have much flavor. We're just gonna do a pinch of salt and another pinch of pepper there. And that's gonna be good. We're gonna get most of our flavor from the sauces that we put it in. And I'm just gonna make like a little hole in here, and then I'm gonna actually put my egg in. And a lot of people just wanna crack it on the side of the bowl, but you gotta be careful because you can get a shell in there. So I'm just gonna crack it a little bit in here, and I'll mix it up. And another reason why I'm gonna pour it in. Now, another reason why you don't want your potato really hot is you will scramble your eggs. So anytime you put eggs onto anything hot, they will scramble. So we don't want that. We want them to be incorporated all throughout the potato. You can mush down as you're going. Make sure you use a big enough bowl that you can mix around because it's very important that the egg is used as a binder, and that's what's gonna make all these come together. Otherwise, you're gonna put them in the boiling water and they're going to fall apart. Okay, easy enough, right? Okay, now we're going to move this out into a surface here. Let me just tell you, a cloth in the kitchen is your best friend. You're always wiping your hands, and when you're working on a stove, every pot handle you have to assume is always hot. So I'm gonna put a little flour down as a surface. I'm actually gonna shut this. This is refrigerated stuff for the restaurant. We're gonna leave that open. And I'm gonna turn out my gnocchi just like that. Put that over there. Now the recipe calls for 1.25 cups of flour. So I'm gonna, just like always in a dry measuring cup, we have to level it off. It's very important. This isn't baking, it's cooking, but still with a dry ingredient, it's important. You have too much flour, the gnocchi are gonna be dry. And there we go, 1/4. So 1/2 and 1/4 is 3/4 of a cup of flour. And now what we're gonna do, this is where it gets messy, but it's always fun. We're going to just mix in the flour with the gnocchi. Kind of reminds you of the homemade pasta that we made, correct? It also reminds me of Play-Doh. And I know I probably told you that story before about my Nana with the Play-Doh. Every time she visited my children, she bought them Play-Doh. And we would go to my mom's and they would play, and it would get all smushed in the rug. My mom has those braided old rugs in her house, and trying to get anything out of there is really hard. So my Nana would bring the Play-Doh. The kids would make a mess, and then she would say, okay, I'm going home now to take my bath. And my mom would just be sitting there trying to get all this Play-Doh up. Okay, if it seems a little wet, just add a little more flour. It's just like pie dough, or just like the pasta. It's very soft though. It's very, very velvety, which is gonna make for a really nice gnocchi. You don't wanna knead it too much because all the gluten in here from the potato and the flour, they will be too tough. Okay, so this is feeling like really nice, soft Play-Doh now. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut it in fours. just like that. And there's that knife again. This knife, I use it for everything. I highly recommend going on Cooking with Nona and buying these knives. Okay, so I'm gonna take one thing here. Oh, I should have kept that. I'm so sorry, guys. Okay. And just start rolling it. Just like this, just like a log. Roll out with your hands. Roll out. And it'll get longer and longer. All right, and we're gonna cut this in half, and we're gonna work with this log now. And we're gonna get them to they're probably a ½ an inch thick. This is a very rustic dish, so these don't have to be perfect. Okay, and then when we get to that point, we're going to just cut them like this. That alone right there is like one serving for somebody, because the gnocchi are very filling. We have people come into the restaurant and they're like, I'll take the gnocchi with the meatballs and the soup and the bread. And by the time they're done, they're full. They have to take it home. See how easy this is, guys? And you're actually making a meal. Just keep rolling. I know everybody has played with clay, Play-Doh, all that good stuff. And then we do it again. And look how fast you're making a dinner. And this is also a great meal for kids because they can actually help you. We'll do one more. And then I'm going to show you how to get the little ridges in it. Just roll back and forth and keep pressing towards out when you roll. That's all you do. Remember, cut it in half again because you don't want to work with too big of a roll. See how stretched it gets? Stretched. And you only want it to like that inch thickness. And then we're gonna, again, just go through. We got a lot of gnocchi here already. And we've only used half of the ball. This is probably gonna feed 4 people. Unless you're someone like my brother who can eat. Last week, 8, what did we make last week?
Lasagna rolls.
Yeah, 8 lasagna rolls he said he could eat last week. Okay, last roll. Oh, we'll cut that one, that little baby one. Okay, so here they are, right? And you're like, well, this doesn't look like gnocchi. No, it does not. I mean, you could just throw them in the water just like this. They are ready to eat. You could poke your finger down in them. I've seen them that way. But what I have here is actually a gnocchi roller. So you can buy this on Amazon. I've had this for years. And you just simply take the gnocchi and you roll it down the thing. And see how it just gets like those little ridges, like the knuckles on it right there? And that's where that gnocco comes from. And you just take them and you just roll them. See that? And that, my friends, is a gnocchi. Now, there are the pros in Italy that can do it with a fork. They actually can take it and roll it like this till it gets like the shape on it. But to me, I haven't had that much practice. I'm not that good at it. I will stick with this board. And they basically just roll down it and you're done. I'm gonna roll a couple here so that I actually made gnocchi early this morning at like 7:30 because I like to try everything that I make here. We have, we don't make our gnocchi homemade here. That's no secret. I mean, I would be here, you know, from sun up to sundown making homemade stuff. You can buy very, very good packaged gnocchi if you don't want to take the time to do this. There's nothing wrong with it. You can probably find them in the pasta section. If anybody has any questions, we can answer those for you. We're gonna be serving this tonight in the restaurant. It's a special. So we always have gnocchi on our menu. We have the sorrentina, which is one of the sauces I'm gonna make for you. Abs, did you want to try to roll one? Might be hard with.
I guess I'm voluntold.
You are voluntold. Aren't they easy?
Yeah, but I'm like backwards.
Do I put it this way? Yeah. See that? A little gnocchi.
There we go.
Perfect. Ah, even better. See, these young kids today, they always find a better way.
Smarter, not harder.
You're right. Work smarter, not harder.
All right.
You know what? I'm going to try her way. And we'll just roll a couple more. But I wanted to roll them to show you how great this little thing is. I mean, it's basically just wood. But you can buy it, add it to your collection. Everybody has that drawer in their house where they have all these different utensils. And we're going to, after I finish these last couple ones, we're going to make 2 different sauces. And I picked 2 different sauces because, like I was saying before, on the menu we always carry the gnocchi sorrentina, which is basically the gnocchi. It's a marinara sauce, and you just add fresh mozzarella to it, some fresh basil, and boom, you're done. Okay, so we have all of our gnocchi here, all done. And that really didn't take long. And look at all this dough that we have left over here. I mean, we have at least 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, this is gonna be double this when we're done. So let me kind of clean my hands off here. And the first sauce I'm going to make for you is basically the sorrentina. And I'm going to turn my burner on here. Medium. Both of these, because in this pot I'm going to make the sorrentina, and in this pot we're going to make the gorgonzola cream. I have the water boiling already, so we're going to just put the gnocchi in there. But I'm going to start here by putting a little bit of marinara in. This is our house-made marinara. So for this, I'm just going to put in 1 scoop. And while that's heating up, I'm going to get a little bit of fresh mozzarella here. Now we have it already. These are bocconcinis. That's what these are called. These are the little tiny fresh mozzarellas that you can put in salads and things like that. We're going to throw them right in this pan and they're going to melt. And we're also going to put some fresh basil. Now the basil is from my garden. I grow it all the time. And what's fun about this dish, honestly, is you don't even have to use a knife to cut it. Most of the time we like to chiffonade basil, but this time we're just going to tear it in like that. And I'm going to take some of my gnocchi and we're going to bring them over, and you boil them just like you would pasta. We're going to put them right down in this water. And they go in this boiling pot. And they'll be done. Just stir this around. Now we're going to add the fresh mozzarella. And this is honestly up to you, how much you want to put in. A lot of people like it really gooey. Some people don't. And you'll see the mozzarella start to melt. And already, see how you can tell that our gnocchi are nice and light, because look at this pot, Abs. They're floating. They're floating already. So once the gnocchi float, it's time to take them out. So we're just going to put them right in here. We'll get these out of there too. And you can see where you can almost not tell the difference between the mozzarella and the gnocchi. We're going to let that simmer down. A little Parmesan on it, as always. And now on this pot, we're going to do, now that literally took 5 minutes. Everybody has a jarred sauce. If you don't have the fresh mozz like this, you have it shredded in a bag. That's absolutely fine too. Now this one is gorgonzola cream sauce. And what we're going to do here is we're going to melt a little bit of butter. So I'm just going to get 3 tablespoons here. Now remember, on our butter, it has all the measurements for you. So I'm going to use 3, so I cut it on the 3 here. And I'm just going to put it in this pot. And we're going to let that melt down. These are really easy sauces. You might say, well, what is gorgonzola cream sauce? Gorgonzola is, it's an Italian cheese. It's just about equal to our blue cheese here in America. A little bit more pungent, but it is delicious. And this is what it looks like. So you can see the blue running through it, just like you would in blue cheese. It's so good, I can eat this whole bowl. We have a special appetizer sometimes with the gorgonzola. We put it on toast, on a bruschetta with honey. And that's really good because you have the sweet and the salty. Now this is melting down. Another really easy sauce that is very popular with gnocchi is brown butter. So if you were going to make that sauce, you would do it right now. So you would continue to let this butter melt down, very, very low simmer until it turns a golden color. And you could put some sage leaves in there and just pour that over the gnocchi. So gnocchi's so versatile. You can do it with bolognese, you could do it with Alfredo, you could do it with this. Now we're going to put in 2 cups of heavy cream. And this is our liquid measurer. So I have that. We're going to add it right in to the butter. And I have room temperature cream here. That's a hot thing. And we're just going to mix this around until the temperature gets hot. And now we're going to add in our gorgonzola. So this was an 8-ounce package of gorgonzola. If you don't know what it looks like, I have one here. Sometimes it already comes crumbled in a bag, but other times you could buy it right in the store just like this. It'll say, you know, gorgonzola just like this. It's delicious. You can make salad dressings with it. So I played around with it, and it wasn't quite the whole 8 ounces. So I'm just going to pour this in, but I'm going to leave a little bit out. If you like it really cheesy, you could put them all. You could put it all in. I'm gonna turn this. Oh no, we gotta do our other one. Now to this, you want to add a little salt and pepper. Now the gorgonzola already has a salty taste to it, so you don't have to do too much. And I'm a salt and pepper person. And we're going to let this melt down. Now these were 2 easy sauces, so inexpensive. Could you do this with milk? Yes. You know, I happen to like the heavy cream with it because I feel it gives it a more velvety taste and texture. You could definitely do it with a bechamel, the one I taught you last week, with the flour and the milk and the butter. And you could just add the gorgonzola to that. You could do it with skim milk if you wanted. I'm not sure about any other types of milks. I'm not really into the almond milks and all those. I don't really know. So now we're going to add this gnocchi over there, but we got a lot left here. Well, that's all right. We're going to need it for the restaurant tonight. Okay, and we're going to put these right in here. If you don't have one of these guys, which a lot of people don't at home, I mean, not everybody has a big pasta pot like that. You can just put them right in the boiling water, right on the pot on your stove. It's not a problem. It took me a long time to get all of the things for my house that as I started to cook more, you know, it was like, oh, well, I need this more and I need this now. So our cheese is really melting down. You can break some of it apart if you want to. Because as soon as we start to see that gnocchi floating, we know they're done. We don't want to overdo them. Fresh pasta, remember, always cooks much faster than the pastas that you buy at home. So the gnocchi you buy at the store is probably going to take longer to cook than this. Okay, so that's boiling down now, and it's pretty much done. And what we're going to do is we're going to get 2 plates here, and we're going to plate these up for Abby and I. And while that's cooking down, I'm going to turn it a little bit. And I'm not going to add the gnocchi to this pot because this is actually more sauce than I have for the gnocchi, so it would just get lost in here. So I'm actually just going to put the gnocchi on the plate here. You really would mix it in a bowl, but I don't want to put all that sauce on here. And we're going to
Get lost in the sauce.
yes, it gets lost in the sauce. Okay, and we're just going to pour this over now. Oh my gosh, I cannot describe this. The smell is outrageous. It really is. And here is our sorrentina. See, look at this mozzarella. Oh my goodness, look at this. These are 2 great dishes, guys, that your family is going to love you for. Now, we always put the top off with a little parm. And if you wanted to finish off the gorgonzola, you could just put some fresh basil on the top here. It's like perfume in the kitchen, the basil. And there we go. So my wine recommendation today, I wanted to do a wine recommendation with these because it's gnocchi and it's light. I'm going to go with a Pinot Grigio today. And I just found this out at the restaurant. We just got it. It's brand new. It's getting really, really great reviews over it. It's nice and light for the summer, but it has a really crisp flavor to it. It's put out by Ruffino, so you know anything by them is really good. We usually get their Chianti, but we figured we would try the Pinot Grigio. So it's always good to keep things in the same flavoring. So the gnocchi is light, so we have a light wine. And are you ready to try it?
Yeah.
Okay. We always come here and we never have lunch first and we're always starving. Okay, so this one I'm going to get some fresh mozz and the gnocchi. Got it?
No.
Little pillow.
Mm-hmm.
A little pillow. Oh my goodness. See, her and I are going to eat this for lunch. Now we're going to try this one. This is the gorgonzola cream sauce. I gotta have 2 on here.
Mm-hmm.
Melts in your mouth.
I love that sauce.
It literally melts in your mouth. So these are 2 great dishes. You can't go wrong. And honestly, besides the gorgonzola, you probably already have everything else in your pantry and your refrigerator.
Yeah.
So please try these dishes. Your kids will love helping you make them, and they're going to love eating them. They won't even know it's potato. It's pasta. So here's to good health and good eating. Cheers, guys.